Good morning, everybody. My name is Justin Rogers, and we're here at Transwest Truck Trailer RV. Today, we're switching it up a little bit. We're going to be doing a diesel Class A. It's the 2025 Newmar Dutch Star 4369. So this is the #1 selling floor plan that Newmar has to offer. The Dutch Star is the #1 selling diesel coach in the country. We have two of them right now, a couple different option differences and different color schemes. So right now we're doing this one. We have that nice green color on it, black, white, and green. So if you like a little pop of color, it'll be a good choice for you. So we're gonna start on the front portion of this and work our way around the outside, and then we'll cover all the different things and we'll go to the inside. So starting in the corner here, obviously you have very large diesel, very large mirrors for the diesel pusher. So the top portion is gonna be electric, the bottom is gonna be the big concave mirror. You'll move that manually. They are heated mirrors, so if you want to use this during the winter time, or if you're in a climate where it's nice and foggy in the morning, you can get all that condensation off of them. Coming down a little bit, you're going to have left and right observation cameras. So they will automatically switch left and right whenever you turn your blinkers on, and there's also a designated display on the inside. If you look just below that, you'll have a clear bra on the front of this. So the clear bra is going to be on all of your high traffic, high impact areas. So they'll have that on the front, around the door handle, in the wheel wells, anything that's going to be hit by a lot of rocks and debris. This one was equipped with the stainless steel baggage doors. So what that means for you is you'll have this stainless steel plate here and then down the whole bottom of the coach. So it'll give that nice finished look to accent with those chrome Alcoa wheels. So you do have two steps in it. Right now I have the suspension aired up, so it is a little bit higher of a step at the moment, but when you air it down when you're ready to set up the campsite, it is a little bit easier to get in and out of there. At the door handle, you're going to have a Newmar embossed handle. It is clear, so it looks a little bit nice. There is a keyless entry, so you can use that for locking and unlocking the entry door, as well as your front or all of your compartments, and there is a doorbell built in. So if you're in the back of the coach and you don't hear somebody knocking on the door, you can hit the doorbell and they'll let you know that someone's outside. So you'll have the Alcoa chrome wheels. They are with the polished finish on there. They're wrapped in a Michelin 365/70 R22.5. So you will have very large tires on this. As you climb the levels of Class A's, you will get bigger and bigger tires. That's just gonna help with load carrying capacities as well as comfort of the ride. While we're still looking in the wheel well, Newmar finishes so your fuel inlet is going to be behind this door here, and then they encase this with a nice steel plate. So if you ever have a blowout, road debris, or anything like that, you don't have to worry about it clipping the fuel inlet line and then fuel draining everywhere or damaging that line to where you can't fill up. You'll have security lights around the bottom and marker lights on it. So whenever you're backing up or you need help seeing at night, you can turn these on. So that's going to help with it. While we're still in this front section, we'll cover this slide to start. So Newmar actually uses flush mount slides. So what that means to you is as the slide goes in, it becomes flush with the wall. The seals are actually behind this, recessed into the wall. So that's gonna help from wind noise whenever you're traveling down the roads, as well as going a little bit further to keep the rain and debris out during the rough elements. Up above me, you'll have a couple awnings going on right here. So you do have an electric door awning up above the door. You have window awnings. There'll be 3 of them. So one behind this TV right here. Then you'll have a larger one on the off-door side that we'll see, and then you'll also have a bedroom one. Mounted all the way up above, you're gonna have 2 Girard Nova awnings. So what's cool about the Nova awnings is they're roof mounted, so when they are retracted all the way in, they'll be flush with that roof line and just give it a nice cleaner aesthetic. And they do have the dual pitch, so whenever they come about halfway out, you see the guide bar in there, they'll actually slope down just to give you a little bit more shade coverage, especially when you have the sun like beaming in right over here like we do today. Another cool feature on those is the LED light strips is mounted on the end of both of the awnings. So you can kind of set them wherever you need out, or you can bring them out ever so slightly just to have all of that porch light out here if you don't want your awnings out. So now we'll cover all the exterior compartments. So this first one, you're gonna have your exterior freezer. So it is built onto a slide tray, and it is a 2-stage slide tray. So what that means to you is it keeps coming all the way out. That way you can open this all the way even when the slide is out. About a year or two ago, Newmar started adding these trays up above this fridge. So you'll have a little bit of extra storage space in it because, you know, every nook and cranny matters when you're traveling in this for months at a time. So all of your compartment doors are gonna have bulb seals all the way around. They close nice and tight, and everything under here is heated and enclosed. So if you're one that likes to travel in those colder climates, you don't have to worry about freezing things underneath. In here is going to be your first full slide tray, so it'll go all the way through. You can open it from both sides. They'll come about 2/3 of the way out. That way you can reach in and get anything from one side or the other. And we try to option a lot of them with the manual trays, because when you have the electric slide trays, it raises them just a couple inches, and then you lose a little bit of height from when you're in there. So the next one's gonna be your larger pass-through tray. So in this one, you're gonna have the screws for manually bringing in the slides if the slides ever fail. Hopefully you never have to need those, but they're here if you ever do. While we're down in this first compartment, we're gonna talk about one of Newmar's key features. It's gonna be the Star foundation. So that's gonna be basically a Z-shaped framing down here. What that does is it raises the floor off of the frame rails, and it makes it a more flush mount floor inside. It also increases a little bit of storage height in here. But the biggest thing is it gets that floor off of the frame rails, so you get less vibrations and noise transference, and less likely of tweaking the floor and cracking a tile or anything of that nature. And then it makes it much stronger, since the frame rail will be the entire width of the motorhome, instead of just having outriggers supporting the sides. So in this next one, it'll be like a 2/3 storage tray. So in here you have a few extra tiles, manual retract for the awnings, your bag for your hoses inside, and then a air hose if you ever need to use the ping tanks to air up some of your tanks. You'll also have a few electrical components in here, so it'll be the manual sections for the slides, and then for the awnings, and also where you dump your central vacuum system. There's an outlet in here as well if you need to charge anything or run a power cord outside. We'll circle back a little bit. So you do have an exterior TV on this one. So you have a sound bar built into it. There's also an outlet on that left-hand side. There is USB-A and USB-C in there. Your sound bar will also double as your exterior speaker. So if you want to listen to music outside, you just connect directly to that, and that'll be how you do that. Up above that compartment we were just in, you'll see a camera. So this was equipped with a 360 camera system. So inside on one of those monitors, you'll be able to go cycle through each of those cameras. There'll be one on each side and then one on the front and the rear. So you can kind of use that just for added protection at night, or if you wanted to see what's going on while you're traveling, you can do that and just see a little more of what's going on around you. This next compartment is going to be an electrical compartment. So this is mainly going to be for technicians, service, and anything of that nature. You're going to have all your components in here. They're going to be labeled. They're going to have red and green lights on it so you can know what's faulting out. It used to be a little pegboard that was in here, but they made it a nice, good wiring diagram, I think for 2025. And it was a much more beneficial thing for technicians to have. Behind this compartment's also going to be your fresh water tank. So that's why it's hinged if you ever need to get back there. So with this one being a 43 footer, it's going to be a tag axle. So Newmar will start making tag axles at 40 foot and above, with the exception of the Mountain Air, which is a 38 foot tag axle. With it being that, this one's on the Freightliner chassis, so it is a steerable tag. When you put it in reverse, it will air down this rear suspension. That way you're not scrubbing those tires, and you can get a little bit tighter turns on it and make it a little bit more maneuverable. It also helps with low speeds whenever you're trying to make very tight turns as well going forward instead of just reverse. In between these tires is the easiest place to see the hydraulic leveling system on it. So it is HWH. You do have 4 hydraulic leveling jacks on this, 1 mounted on each corner, 2 in the rear behind, in between the tires, and then 2 in between the front tires out there. So they have a very good gap between them just to get it nice and stable on the road, or when you're set up for camping, not on the road. Back here you're going to have a depth fill tank. You can fill it from this side or the opposite side. Here's going to be the main electrical section for your battery, or for your engine. You'll have your chassis batteries back here, as well as your chassis battery disconnect. In the top right hand corner there will be a wiring diagram as well, so if you ever need to replace the batteries and you need to do it yourself and you don't want a technician to do it, you can do that. And then there's also the exhaust components for the engine down below that. So we'll take a look at the full extent of the rear cap before we get into the engine bay. So on the back of it, right above the Dutch Star logo, you will see that rear camera for the 360 camera. Towards the top, you'll also see your rear observation camera, so you can see what's going on behind you while you're driving down the road. That's part of that left and right observation camera system, so you can see what's going on there. You do have a tow hitch down here, so it's rated for 15,000 pounds because it is a Dutch Star. So it's a Cummins 8.9 liter with 450 horsepower and 1,150 pounds of torque. You'll have a 7-way plug, and this one was equipped with the air brakes back here for the Air Force One braking system on your tow vehicle. So in here will be the rear engine compartment. So this is where you see the beautiful red of the Cummins 8.9 liter. The Dutch Star is the first level where you start having the side mount radiator. So what that means to you, a little bit better cooling, but you have more access to the rear components of the engine. Power steering reservoir, fuel water separators, oil filters, all of your fluids are right here, as well as your Oasis tank levels all back here. And there's the block heater mounted in here, and you also have an LED light in here if you ever need to check some things at night, just so there's a little bit of light in case you forgot a flashlight. Now we're working our way down the driver's side. So you'll see the side mount radiator in here. You can open it from the outside. You'll have the opposite fill for the def tank. In here, you'll have an all metal storage compartment with 2 drain holes. So if you want to store a sewer hose or anything that's kind of messy that you just need to rinse out, or if you need to rinse out that compartment, you can. Anything you don't want to put in your other compartments. You'll see the awning, the window awning for the bedroom back here. So this will be the one that's across from the bed underneath the TV. This compartment's going to be your water bay. So in here you'll have a couple of your key features. So you'll have your fresh hose on a power cord reel. You have a cutout in here, so you can keep that compartment door closed while whenever you're hooked up to city water. Whole house freshwater filter. You do have the RV SantaCon here. So there's 2 ways that you can dump this. You can just use the RV SantaCon for everything and use that. It'll go into this black and gray, will go into that gray box, and this hose is connected behind it. So if you put that in the dump area, you can use that just to macerate it, and through that dump it into the dump area. Whenever you do that, a lot of people get the RV SantaCon because it's actually a pump, and if you're not on a level area, you can pump this uphill if you need to. But if you also want to just manually dump it, you still have the connection here as well as the cutout down here if you want to use the hose, RV sewer hose. In here you'll also have your water pump. It's easily accessible. Everything in here is heated and closed as well. And if you ever break your water pump, you can get into it easily, and instead of having to rip apart cabinets and stuff. You have a hot and cold outdoor shower in here. Your black tank flushes in here, as well as your connections for city water in here. So whenever you have it on manual fill, that's just going straight to the fresh tank when you're connected to city water. Autofill, you have it set to that when you're doing city water, and then there's a couple buttons inside you could use to autofill it or top off the tank whenever you're doing that. Your low point drains are here, as well as bypassing everything for winterizing. So one of the cool things about the compartment, so as we close it, you can see it goes up and down. The reason they do that is when this slide comes out to give it the flush mount floors, it'll actually lower itself down just like a little elevator, and we'll see that when we're in here. But they make this little lift on there so you can open the compartment even when that slide is all the way out without worrying about clipping the bottom of the slide and damaging the paint on the door or the slide. So the next bay is going to be electrical in here. So you'll have a 50 amp power cord, and it is on a power cord reel. One of the things that I like about Newmar's power cords is if you have it mounted in, these are really tough to get out sometimes. They have this handle here that when you flip it up against the block, it just pushes itself off of it. That way it's a lot easier to get unhook it whenever you're doing that. You'll have your coax if you're hooked up to a cable. You'll also have your power monitoring system in here, and then the transfer switch as well as the surge protector is built in here. So the next bay is going to be your Oasis Chinook. So that's the alternative to an AquaHot system. It's going to be hydronic heating. So what that means to a customer, it's going to be continuous hot water as well as your furnace. So what's cool about hydronic heating is actually it heats up a glycol mixture and it runs it through these tubes throughout the coach, and then there's little manifolds throughout with fans that blow over like radiator type systems to heat the air without drying it out. One of the benefits to Oasis versus AquaHot is there's 2 electrical elements in here as well as a diesel burner, and then this system is more serviceable. You can replace individual components on it, whereas AquaHot, usually you have to replace the whole thing if you break it. So the next few compartments are just going to be the opposite sides of those storage trays that we saw. If we take a step back, we can actually see that large window awning that's on this side. So up above, you can also see where the slide toppers are mounted. So they are encased and they're mounted to the roof, or sorry, to the sidewall as well as the roof of the slides. And them being enclosed is going to help prevent deterioration long-term from the sun and the elements. And there's also little sweeps on them to help clean off the tops of the slides. The slide toppers when you roll them in and out. So this next bay is going to be your electrical system. So we optioned this one with the lithium setup as well as the second inverter. So there's 960 amp hours of lithium as well as 2 3,000 watt inverters. So recently they made the switch to Victron. Victron's one of the more superior inverter systems that we have right now, and Lithionics is a pretty good lithium setup. So they do have battery management systems, and you can connect it to your phone to see how much power you're using as well as how long your batteries will last based on your current usage. We did order this one with solar prep, so if you wanted to make that off-grid camping even more capable, you can get solar panels added to the roof. This one will be the other side of the fill tank for the diesel. So you can fill it from both sides, or if you pull into a truck stop, you can put both pumps in and fill your tank quicker. Next compartment down here is going to be all the electrical for your generator, as well as the generator release cable, and then some spare fuses that they mount in here. You do have an opening window for the driver, and it is an electric opening window, so you don't have to worry about undoing the lever and then pushing it, because sometimes those windows get stuck if you have ever tried opening like an old diesel motorhome window. Up here is going to be access to your generator compartment. So up here you'll have a hot water connection and the air hose connection. So if you wanted to use the hot water to rinse off bugs off the windshield, especially you live down in Florida areas where there's a lot of bugs, below the gnat line, if you guys are familiar with it. So it opens in two ways. So that release in that compartment releases this like a hood, and then this lever here is going to release the generator itself. So right now we're on a little bit of a slope, so it comes out pretty easily, but it makes it a little bit more difficult for it to push back in. Your windshield wiper fluid is down here, as well as the fuel oil filter for the generator. So we're going to work our way to the inside of the coach now and cover all the cool components that are in here. So we'll start with the entry door. It's a super thick entry door. You're going to have a screen down here, as well as the plexiglass blocking that off, so you can have it completely closed if you don't want animals or bugs or anything getting out like that. And the other cool feature that Newmar does is you can actually open this top. If it's impeding with the driver window, or you just want more views, you can roll this screen all the way up so you can get a better, more clear view out of that window. There's also a little button snap there just to make sure it doesn't pop up while you're driving. In the entry door, there's going to be two storage compartments here. So if you want to put shoes or anything that's going to be dirty, it's all tile right here, so it's very easy to clean if you throw messy items in here. And then this one's going to be the same thing, but a much deeper compartment. This will probably be the easiest time to show the step cover, so we'll go ahead and do that while we're here. So the step cover is basically meant to make that floor nice and flush, so the passenger doesn't have their feet dangling. You can stand on this if you need to, but it's mainly just to make sure your feet aren't dangling or have that feeling that there's nothing underneath you. You'll have a large grab handle on the left right here, and then you'll have a few key buttons that you'll need to know where they're at. So the house battery disconnect is going to be here. The lock and unlock for all your baggage doors is going to be here, as well as your patio light's going to be here. And then off to this right hand side, if you want to pan it over, Jody, there's one more switch that they added recently. It's going to be a ceiling light. So with older Newmars, you'd have to go in and you'd have to get to the main control panel and press all the buttons to turn the lights on. With this one, if you hit ceiling lights, it'll turn the majority of the front portion of the motorhome lights on, so you're not fumbling around in the dark. Or if you're leaving, you just hit the bottom portion, and it turns all of the lights off inside of the coach, not just the front portion. So up here is going to be an important section for you as well. So this is going to be kind of your main control panel for slides, awnings, security lights, your step controls and stuff. So right now we have all the slides in just for demonstrating the outside, and makes it a little bit easier to get in the compartments. In here you'll have a master cutoff for your lithium. You'll have your Victron control panel here for the inverters. Have Winegard satellite controls here. The main controls for your awnings will be here. Slide out controls for the front portion are going to be here, so that will be your driver's side, front slide, and then your passenger slide. Over here you'll have controls for each of your awnings. So I'll go ahead and bring that door one in, and then you also have the little light for that entrance door awning. So we'll leave these window awnings out for now, just so it keeps the inside a little cooler, because it does get hot in these rather quickly, especially if we don't have the ACs going. You have security lights, the block heater controls here, as well as the step. So with the exterior step switch, if you have it toggled down, the step will come in and out automatically whenever that door is open or closed. So what we try to do, especially when we're demoing them or if we have them staged on the lot, is we'll flip this switch off. That way the step stays out and customers feel more welcome to it, not like it's closed up ready to go. You'll have exterior lights underneath the slides. Up here we did equip it with Starlink, and then you also have the Wi-Fi Ranger, the Everest. That way you can use Wi-Fi booster if you need it, and Starlink if you ever want that subscription. So while we're right here, we'll just cover these two storage compartments. So you do have 2 shelves there and then 2 shelves there. Obviously storage is important, so whenever you don't have that front overhead TV, you get a little bit more storage. So now we're going to switch places, Jody. We're going to show what the motorhome looks like with the slides closed. So it is pretty easy to walk back through here. You can sit there, be across from each other. You do have like the dinette computer workstation here. Obviously don't sit in these chairs while you're driving. And you also have access to your half bath here. So what's cool about that is Newmar uses that halfway pivoting door. So you get full entry into that half bath if you need to, and you're not having to try and squeeze in through a little gap like that. So the motorhome's pretty usable closed up, so that always helps out. So now we're gonna open up the slides so we can see what it looks like when it is open. So with that passenger slide, the one with the couch and the kitchen area, that one just goes all the way out and seats itself or seals itself. And then the driver's side slide, you'll actually see that gap that you still have when it's all the way out, and then it'll start to lower itself down. So it does move nice and slow when you're doing that because it is a full wall slide, and they want to make sure it goes down nice and evenly. There we go. So now you can see all the space that it opens up into this motorhome. It makes it very, very comfortable, very large feeling. For a 43 footer, you could still get a little bit bigger than this if you climb the tree of Newmar's. The Dutch Star is going to be the highest non-luxury diesel. It's kind of the most bang for your buck before you step into that extra price point of their high-end luxury items. You get a lot of the same features, but just a couple differences when you step up. Mainly the motor is going to start upgrading when you get into those higher ends, and that's where a lot of that cost will come from. All right, so now that we have this fully open, we're going to start at the front portion and work our way back. So over here, you're going to have your theater seating. We optioned it with this instead of the trifold sofa. They are comfortable chairs. They do have USBs built into them, and they are electric. So they do come out and go pretty flat. So if you're one that wants to nap in a chair, you can do that. And they are wider chairs. So if you're a bigger person, it's a little bit more comfortable than trying to fit into the narrower chairs. So to the left of this one, you'll have one of your first control panels. So in here you can control the ACs, the powers, the floor heating, automatic gen start, some fan controls, some lights, your tank levels, as well as this will be the control for the TV lift. So the TV lift is electric, obviously, and you will just do one touch up and down on it. So it makes it nice to do. So I'll go ahead and lower it down. I had it up just for demonstration, but we'll have it down. That way you can see the nice big window behind it, as well as that window awning that is outside. So the window awnings pretty much go to like a 90-degree angle with the fabric at like a 45. So that's going to block out the most light that you can, and just keep that sun heat out, especially if you live in a hotter area. So we're here in Colorado, and it gets hot sometimes, but not like Arizona and Texas, where a lot of our customers go to or come from. So next we're going to cover the storage on this. So you'll have 3 compartments up above, or 4, sorry. This is one long compartment. So if you want to stick bigger items in here, you can. They all have these gas struts keeping them up, and as well as the hidden hinges behind it, so just giving it a much cleaner look. There is felt up here, so you don't have to worry about things sliding around as much. It'll also help with sound deadening and rattles whenever you're traveling. So In the ceiling of this slide, you'll have your LED lights, as well as this being soft touch, just like the main ceiling. So again, helps with insulation, helps with sound deadening. So you're trying to have the best experience whenever you're in one of these higher end coaches. Over here, you'll have a little tiny storage compartment. So enough just to stick some small items in. Not a whole lot, maybe not some books, but you can roll up a magazine or something and stick it in there. In between the theater seats, you're gonna have a very large storage compartment. So they do have the hinges in here. You have a shelf. The shelf does slide away, and you can put very large items in here, extra blankets, anything that you want to fit in there. You also have like stainless steel cup holders in here, so you don't have to worry about getting the leather wet, or if they use the wood ones like some other manufacturers use, and you can get swelling over time. So you'll have an outlet in between, so it's going to be an outlet with USB-C and USB-A in it, some sconces in between that as well. You'll have day and night shades throughout the entire coach. These are motorized, so what's cool about that is it's super simple. On the remote, you'll be able to see different channels on it. So all day, all night, and you just push the button and it'll lower all the night shades in the whole front half of the coach. You do have another remote that's going to be for the back half, which will be your bedrooms. And then the bathrooms do have manual ones in there, so you don't have to worry about it getting dark. So we'll go ahead and raise these up just so they have a little bit more light in here for the videos. So this one is kind of a cool layout. This one, I call it more of a computer workstation on it. So you do have two removable chairs in here. So the desk itself actually pulls out. So you can move it, drag it all the way out. It does expand, so if you want to put leaves in here, you can do that. Those will be stored under the bed, I believe. And you can bring this table all the way out if you want to have a much bigger workspace, or expand it depending on your needs. So obviously you kind of keep it tucked in here whenever you're traveling. So one of the nice things about it though is it's for those people that like to work remote. So this one has Starlink. You'll have all the storage here that you need. You have outlets on both sides, and then there is a little cutout down here. So what that cutout can be used for is you have a printer tray down here. So this is an adjustable shelf, and there's also outlet down here. So anything that you need electronics wise, you can store under here, keep charged, extra batteries, depending on whatever your use case is. So up above you're gonna have a drawer. So the other side, you'll have like a little built-in file drawer. So down below, you'll have a little file drawer, and it does have these metal edges screwed to it right there. So if you wanted to put just your standard size filing folders in here, you can, especially with the little sliders. Then you just have two more drawers. So you see, as you see on it, all of it's going to be soft closed drawers. So it just makes it a little more comfortable in what you'd expect in higher end stuff. Up above this, you'll have more cabinetry. Again, it's passed through all the way through, so if you want to put little dividers in here, you can, little shelves, little cubbies, however you want to set it up. They just kind of give you the blank canvas as well as the felt pads, just so things don't move around. While we're here, we'll go ahead and cover the pantry and the fridge, and then we'll work our way to the control panel as well as the kitchen. So here are those two remotes. So this one's going to be for the front half. This one's going to be for the back half. They are magnetic, so we kind of stick them to the fridge just so they're easy to find whenever we're demoing the motorhomes. You do have a residential fridge. So French doors up top, drawers down the bottom for the freezer. You do have a built-in ice maker, and there are above and below sections on it, as well as a travel lock. So that's going to keep it nice and closed whenever you're traveling. You don't have to worry about the fridge doors popping open. Next to that is going to be your pantry. So the pantry is 6 drawers, and you push on them to release them, and they are full extension drawers. So if you want to do that to get to the back, you can, especially on this side. it's much easier to get to those further back items. And you just push on them to release them. If you just pull on them, it doesn't do anything. All right, so we'll cover the control panel while we're in front of it. On the home page, this is kind of going to be mainly for observation with a couple key features on it. Water pump controls if you're doing any dry camping and you need water from your fresh tank. Top off will top off your fresh tank. Autofill will fill up your fresh tank when you have it connected. Your block heater is going to be here. House and chassis controls are there, as well as what your state of charge is, how much power you're pulling, and then how much power is going into the batteries. Your fresh gray and black levels will be here. This is an all-electric coach. That's why we saw that Oasis, so that's why there's not going to be a propane level on here. Some of your master light controls will all be here, as well as the TV lift up and down. So the next section is going to be power. So you can go in here and you can set up your energy management system, as well as viewing what your power is, what your battery temperatures are, how much power the batteries have, and then whatever the temperature or what your remaining capacities are, as well as how much voltage is going to each of them. The next one's going to be your autogen start, so you can set that up for HVAC load or temperature or state of charge. So if you ever need to charge those batteries back up and you're not there, you're doing like an extended hike for the day or bike ride, you don't have to worry about your fridge taking all your power. Really not a concern with how much lithium is on this coach, but you know, if you want to do those longer ways, 1 or 2 day overnight trips, you can. Floor heat, so we did option it with floor heating on it. So you have 3 zones, front, mid, and back. So front's going to be your living, middle's going to be the middle, the back, the mid's going to be your bedroom, the back is going to be the back bathroom. A cool thing that Newmar does is your slide room floors, that tile that we saw, that's still tied into the floor heat, as well as the engine hatch cover when we get to the back, just so there's not cold spots throughout the coach. So fan's going to be your max air fans. You do have one in the kitchen, one in the half bath, and one in the main bathroom. You can set the speed as well on these as well, depending on what noise level you're comfortable with. HVAC is going to be all your different AC controls, as well as turning on your Oasis. You do have the designated heater just for this half bath. That way it's not cold. It's not colder than the rest of the coach. So you do have 3 heaters on this, or 3 ACs, all of which will have heat pumps on it. So 15K ACs with heat pumps and the Oasis and heated floors. So there's going to be plenty of ways to keep yourself warm, especially in that colder climates. Bluetooth pair, you can download the app, connect it directly to this, and you can control it from your phone within a certain distance. What's useful about that is if you're doing a solo trip, you don't have anybody to help watch you, you can do that and connect or do most of the things yourself and not worry about hitting stuff. All of your different light controls will be here. You'll have the masters for each and for everything right there, as well as individual zones for turning them on and off. So throughout the coach, you'll see a couple of these little sensors. That's just going to be the thermistor for the AC. That's reading what the current temperature is inside, so it knows whether to turn the AC on or off. Down below on this corner, you'll have the attachment for the central vacuum. So this is where you'll plug the hose in, or this is where you'll use the kick sweep. So you just flip it up, it turns on, and you can sweep the dirt right into that, and it'll go down into that bag that we saw underneath. While we're on this side, you'll see a nice big mirror here. So it is a smoked out mirror. So what that means to you, it's not as bright as a normal mirror, but it does help make the room feel more spacious, as well as it not being just a blank wall on the side of that bathroom. So that helps out a lot. So starting in the kitchen area, you'll have a big stainless steel farm sink. There's a little divider down there, so if you're one that wants to drain or rinse or anything like that, you still have that, as well as it being a full-sized farm sink if you need to fill it up all the way. You do have the solid surface sink covers for made out of the exact same countertop. You'll have that for the sink as well as the induction cooktop, and you'll have a residential sprayer here. Down below, you'll have a spot for a trash can. You can get a little second one if you want, or use it for storage. You'll also have another little cubby. and they do pull out so it's easier to get to. And there is a designated spot on the back left down there where you'll put those sink covers whenever you need them stored away. Up above the sink, you'll have some storage. So in here, you'll have another pull-out. This is where all the Newmar owner's manuals are, and as well as below that, you're gonna have all your engine owner's manuals. So in here, there's a couple key things. You'll have this shelf. It's adjustable. There's an outlet back there that's tied into the convection microwave. You'll have who you'll call if you need help. The exact length of the motorhome, 43 foot 9 inches. All your different color codes or paint codes if you ever need touch-up paints made. You'll have your VIN as well as your engine specs and the chassis specs all tied into here. And then this one will just be another little storage spot. So while we're still up high, you'll have another little storage spot up above the microwave. You'll have the larger convection microwave, and it does have air fry in it. So we've been seeing a couple of the other ones that are a lot smaller than this, where it'll be about this big of a cubby for actually using instead of the whole space of the microwave. So this is a little bit refreshing to see. To the left of that, it's going to be the box for the Starlink, as well as another adjustable shelf. So make it however you want, depending on what you're going to put in there. The kitchen window is an option, so we tend to order it with it just because it gives you a lot more natural light in here, and it doesn't make it feel as closed off in that living room. So one of the things that you'll notice with pretty much all the Newmars is you'll have the covers for the induction cooktop made out of the countertop. You'll have a true induction cooktop, so any pan that a magnet will stick to, it'll work with this, or you can buy specific induction pans. But they do make it completely removable. So you can take it out, unplug it, and if you like to do your cooking outside, you can. That way you're not getting any like frying smells or anything like that inside the coach, because a lot of people don't like cooking in here just for that reason. We did option this with the dishwasher as well. So when it's powered off, it does have a travel lock. So unlike other brand of dishwashers that you can just open and close freely, you actually have to turn this one on to release that travel lock. So just one less thing banging around or risking opening up whenever you're driving down the road. So down below the induction cooktop, you'll have a big pull-out drawer, big face but little drawer. You have silverware built in here. You'll have this tool is going to be used to drop down your AC vents in the center. That way you can get to the filters. Touch-up paints, remotes, and just some more stuff for the motorhome. You'll have a little lip built in over here, so you don't have to worry about stuff running off and dripping onto the leather of the couch. Just a little bit cleaner, keeping it all tidy. So you'll have a pull-out countertop down below that. So it gives you just a little bit more prep space, especially with this floor plan. It's not the largest kitchen Newmar has, but it definitely is a large kitchen space for what it has to offer. You'll have full extension drawers in here as well, and they are deep, so you can put lots of things in them. And then to close it, you just push hard to get it to release. Up above this couch, you're going to have some storage here. You'll have a little AV cabinet that's tied into that TV. So HDMI and satellites already ran here if you want inputs tied into that. You'll have a sound bar built in up here, again tied into that TV. And then you'll have another little cabinet over here. There'll be another outlet over here with USB-A and USB-C. This will be a sleeper sofa, so if you have any guests, you can pull the bed out. Oh, this one's got the little lever. There is, the strap's not there to release it right now, it's tucked down underneath, but you'll pull that strap and it'll pull out just like a normal trifold sofa, and then you lay the back down to finish off the couch. right, so that's gonna finish it up for your kitchen area. So now what we're gonna do is cover the half bath, and then we'll cover the bedroom and the master bathroom. So in this half bath, there'll be a couple important things in here. You're gonna have your main electrical panel is gonna be hidden in here. So you'll have all your breakers, your floor heat, fuses, spare fuses, as well as all your breakers on this side. So everything's gonna be labeled so you know what goes where. That way if you don't have any 110 power, you can check in here, see if something's popped, or you can check your inverter controls to make sure they're turned on. Up above me, you'll actually see the max air fan in here, whereas in that kitchen, they have that wood fascia over it, so you can see that it is the larger max air. The bathrooms are gonna have manual shades in here, just so if you want to have the window open or anything while you're in here, you can do the blackout shade, the day shade, or just have them both up while the rest of the coach stays closed off. You'll have a large, deep corner cabinet, and then you'll have a medicine cabinet. It'll be hard to see, but there is another main control panel in there. That way you can turn on the water pump or any of the other features that you need if you're in this bathroom and you forget. Towel rod here, bowl, same countertops as that's in the kitchen. And then you'll have a little bit of storage compartments down below, as well as a drawer and a little cabinet. So this is going to be an electric flush toilet. So it's the buttons for it are going to be right here. And then the toilet paper holder is going to be over here. So not having to open a cabinet to get into it just makes it a little bit easier. So if you want to block off the bedroom, you can. So you will have a pocket door that blocks off this front portion. That way you can have the bathroom, the master bathroom and the bedroom all partitioned away, and your guests can still have that half bath as well as that sleeper sofa up there. That way you're not having to walk through one room or the other just to go to the bathroom. They do leave a nice big gap at the bottom there so you can have ventilation for heat and AC, just so one's not getting more stuffy than the other and the air is still moving through the coach. You'll have a cabinet down on this left side of the bed. You'll also have a solid surface countertop right there that you use as your little nightstand. Up above, you're gonna have cabinets. There's going to be outlet over there, as well as on each side, you're gonna have a cutout. So if you wanna run the hoses for your CPAP through, you can, since it's already cut out of the wood. There'll be a master control panel right here up underneath. So if you wanna turn lights off, generator on, anything like that, from the comfort of bed, you can. You'll have opening windows on both sides, so you can get a good ventilation or good cross ventilation if you're one that doesn't want to use the AC, especially if you're like up in the mountains or something and you just want that fresh mountain air. You can have that. Underneath the bed, you're going to have a little bit of storage. So you'll have the leaf for the table in there, as well as 2 collapsible chairs. So those collapsible chairs makes it where you can seat 4 at that table comfortably. And the leaf just gives you a 12-inch extension, just for a little bit more workspace or a little bit more eating space. On the right side, you're going to have another one of those little storage compartments. You can fit books and stuff in there if need be. So across from that, you'll see how the slide floor is nice and flush, like we talked about there. So this will be heated as well, so you don't have to worry about the bedroom floor being heated and then this not being heated. Your storage in here, you're going to have 2 hanging storages in the bedroom itself, 1 on each side, and a TV in the center. So in this left one, you're going to have all your components and their model and serial numbers all printed out. So if you need to reference anything, you can do that. You'll have your TV for your bedroom in the center, and then down below you'll actually see the window that we saw, as well as a window awning out there, just to keep that bedroom nice and cool and block any of that sunlight out. Below you'll have 5 drawers and then 1 little AV cabinet drawer. So this one is a dual extension just like that, so you can get past this cabinet. Then this one opens normally. So this surface is the same surface that we saw back in the kitchen. So they just carry it throughout just for any high traffic areas or stuff, areas that you might set liquids down. So this last one's gonna be a little AV cabinet with adjustable shelves. So if you wanna put DVD player, Blu-ray player, anything like that, or a Wally if you get satellite, you can put all of that in here. You'll have another little smoked mirror just to make the room feel a little bit bigger. So you have that. You'll have another pocket door in here to block off the main bathroom. Jody, if you want to step in here, you do have a full-length mirror on this the back of the pocket door as well. So a lot of motorhomes won't have this full-length mirror, especially for women that are trying to get ready. So just one of those things that they thought about. Right here, you're gonna have your stackable washer and dryer. So we tend to option them with all of our higher end stuff with the washer and dryer because it's easier to get it done at the factory than after the fact. And if you ever want it removed, you can get it removed and just have storage put there. Over here, you're gonna have dual sinks. So his and hers, or hers and hers, and you get a little corner. You'll have another master control panel here. You'll have a towel holder here. You'll have medicine cabinets on both sides. So one thing that Newmar does is puts this little chain limiter there. That way you're not banging this glass panel on that curtain, on the little towel holder. But I mean, if you wanna hit it hard enough, you probably could hit it, but obviously we don't recommend that. There's an outlet mounted in here, so if you need to charge electric toothbrushes or anything like that, you can. There's also an outlet mounted under here. That way you don't have to have this cabinet door open if someone's trying to blow dry their hair, curl their hair, or anything of that nature. So again, same countertops that are in the rest of the coach. With this one, you have the recessed bowls instead of the above sink bowl that's in the half bath. So if you're one that wants to get down and wash your face, you can do that. Down below, you're gonna have lots of storage space. So they did put the felt down at the bottom one. Again, help with a little bit of insulation and also keep stuff from sliding around. You'll also have 3 drawers. So they are nice deep drawers just to give you that much more storage space in the bathroom. And then another large cabinet underneath there. So we'll rotate around. Back here, you're gonna have rear storage. So when you get into this 43 foot range, a lot of times you'll get this large rear storage. So again, more hanging storage, adjustable shelves on the right side with a safe up above it. So another option that we did, because a lot of people in this price point want that nice big safe to keep any valuables in there. Shoe rack in here, all built in cubbies there. Again, more storage down below. You can throw whatever you need in there. This is also adjustable shelves or completely removable shelves if you need more hanging space. And then you can also access these shelves from this side right here. You'll have another electric flush toilet here, and the controls are going to be down here next to my leg. One of the features that's on a lot of the larger Newmars is going to be this egress door. So you have that front entry door that we saw come in, but we also have this rear emergency exit door. So you pop it open, you'll pull this little panel off here, and there's going to be a ladder, a flip down ladder in there. So this panel's just magnetic, so it makes it easy to get on and off. But it's also a good way to get in and out in case of emergencies. So one of the last things back here in this bathroom is going to be the very large shower. So if you get in here, make sure that doesn't bang. There we go. You do have a very large shower. So if you're a larger person, you have plenty of room. You have plenty of ceiling height in here. You could do that. Shower head here, aquamizer. So if you want to conserve your fresh water, it'll recirculate water back into the fresh tank while you wait for this to change colors while it's heating up. So you're not filling your gray tank or wasting fresh water if you're doing that dry camping. You do have the shower wand if you need to rinse yourself off directly, especially like people that aren't washing their hair that day. You do have a handle in here, some cubbies, as well as a seat in here. So anybody that needs to sit down, or women that want to shave their legs and stuff, it makes it just a little bit more comfortable to do. So while we're back here, there's one of the features that we can cover with Newmar. So if you see right here, it's a nice rounded ceiling. It's the cathedral ceiling that they'll do in the back section of this motorhome. Makes it feel much taller in here, a little bit more spacious, especially since you have this little step up for that big motor that's underneath. So when you have that 8.9 liter motor, it is larger than your 6.7, so you're always going to have the step up into the bathroom, or if it's a really small motorhome, on one side of the bed. So they try to make that partition right at that master bathroom, so it's more of natural feeling to step up into the bathroom instead of like just on one side of the bed. With the cathedral ceiling, it's more spacious in here, just gives it a little bit more grand of a look. And then once you're back into the rest, you'll have that flush mount ceiling. So one thing that's unique to Newmar is you'll see these vents down the middle. So they do the intake and the exhaust down the center of the motorhome. What that's going to mean to you is when your slides are closed, it can still cool or heat the entire motorhome instead of just the tops of those slides. So one of the things that they do, and it makes it a lot easier to get to all those different filters and stuff, and giving it a little bit cleaner of a look without having all those holes cut in the roof all the way throughout. So the last thing that we're going to cover up here is going to be the chassis. So we'll start on this passenger side. So this one was equipped with the extra wide passenger seat. So if you're a larger person or someone that wants to sit with their dog or cat or anything like that, you can do that. So I'm not a very large person, but there's still plenty of seat on the side of it. You'll have this footstep, so a foot prop over here, as well as the step cover that we demonstrated before. So on this, you'll also have a passenger monitor system. So we option it with that, so it's just an added safety feature. You can turn it on and you can control navigation, cameras, the radio, and stuff for the passenger can, so the driver's not messing with it while they're going down the road. You'll also have visor, map light, and then a wireless charging pad here, as well as another outlet and then another designated USB-A and USB-C. So both of these are captain's chairs, so they do turn around to be part of the living room if you want to entertain a few more people or you have guests with you and you need more seating than what's back there to offer. So So we're going to cover this little center section first. Down below, you're going to have two little drawers. So a lot of motorhomes these days don't even have these little cubbies here, so it's nice just to have that. Up above, you're going to have a lot of your controls. So you're going to have your two visors. So this will be the driver visor and the front visor, the blackout shade. So that'll act basically as your sun visor whenever you're cruising down the road. It only goes down to a certain point when the engine is running. And what I learned earlier today is the blackout visors, you can't raise or lower them if you have the engine running from that remote. So it just kind of disables those from the remote, so you don't have to worry about someone messing with that. Dock lights, going to be all those little the lights we saw towards the bottom all around the coach. Overhead fans is going to be for up there. It's going to help with defrosting. Obviously high, medium, and low. You also have your different fan settings here. Generator control for up front, it's going to be right here. Entry door lock, air horn, courtesy lights is just going to be this front pathway. This other visor off to the right, it's going to be for the passenger side. And the 360 camera select is when you're in the menu and camera control, you can do the different cameras. There we go. You can cycle through all the different cameras. All right. So above that, another little cubby. You'll have your dash AC controls. So we'll turn that off for now so you guys aren't getting any wind noise. Obviously heat, defrost, all of that's in here. You're going to have your two main monitors. So these are going to be two essentially 10-inch displays. One's going to be designated just for cameras. So right now we have it set to the 360 cameras, but that's going to be where your left and right and your rear monitors are. on this side. This left one is going to be for navigation, radio, Bluetooth, anything of that nature. So you'll tie, this one will be mainly for entertainment and navigation. That's going to be always camera. So on the steering wheel, with this one being a Freightliner chassis, we'll go ahead and lower that down a little bit. You're going to have a digital display over here. It is adjustable, so you can change kind of what you're looking at up here. RPMs are always going to be there, speed's always going to be there, miles per hour is always going to be there. You'll also get to see phone battery if you have that connected, all your different lights, collision avoidance, all of those sensors are going to be up here. Coolant, oil pressure, your fuel level, and your DEF levels are going to be here, as well as the air for your pink tanks, mileage, and distance to empty is all going to be in this spot. So when you're playing with these, you can choose what additional gauges you want. Steering effort is going to be what's called a comfort drive. So that's one thing that's unique to Newmar's. What it is it basically assisted steering. So you can change the steering effort level to where when you have it set to less, it's like power steering on cars, but it makes it where you can turn it around even easier. And one of the things you can do, especially when you're driving, is if you have the steering effort set correctly, it'll always stay centered, and you can kind of be a little more relaxed with it because you're not fighting the wind constantly in the steering wheel. It's holding itself true. One useful thing when you're backing up too, if you let off the if you let go of the steering wheel, it'll straighten itself back up. So that's super helpful to do as well. All right. Fuel economy, Mobileye, that's going to be for your safety features in it. So it's going to be collision mitigation. It's going to beep at you and yell at you if you're crossing the lines or anything like that, or if you're getting too close to someone. Tire pressure monitoring is built into this as well. And then all your trip mitigation or trip settings are in here, as well as vehicle settings and diagnostics. The Freightliner chassis are pretty much self-diagnosing, so they usually tell you if something's going on or something's not right, and it makes it very easy for a technician to get into the system and see what's going on with the chassis. On the steering wheel itself, you're going to have your push-to-talk settings here for calling, hanging up. You're going to have your cruise control settings over here, light settings here, volume for the left side, or for the right monitor over here, as well as these menus are going to be to navigate. This is essentially a favorite key. Newmar from the factory sets it up for the comfort drive. Down below here, with this being the 8.9 liter, you do have a true engine brake. So what that means is this has 4 different settings. One is off, low, medium, and high. How that triggers is as soon as you let completely off the gas and you're traveling at above 15 miles an hour, it'll automatically start slowing itself down and downshift to slow the vehicle down. You can choose how aggressive it is, basically by low, medium, or high. Most of the time you'll be in low or medium. Unless you're going down those steep grades, you'll be in high. For shifting gears, it's as simple as rotating the dial here, up for drive, center for neutral, bottom for reverse. If you're wanted to limit what gears you're in because you're going down mountains or you're towing, you can push this in for, hold this in for manual, and then you can paddle shift. On this left side, it's going to be windshield wiper controls, blinkers as well, and then for your different light controls. Parking brake's going to be on this top left. Headlight controls are going to be here. You do have automatic headlights on this one. Battery boost is going to be up here, located in the cockpit, so that's going to be nice to get to. So if you kill one system or the other, you can link the groups of batteries, start your generator, or link the group of batteries and start your chassis, depending on which one you killed and whatever you need. Cup holders up here. You'll have the tag dump controls here, so you can have it set to auto or manual if you want to just dump the tag. Traction control override is here. Your window is going to be here for opening and closing it. The electric mirror controls we talked about is going to be back there. And then back here behind me, you're going to have your leveling. So this will be for the HWH hydraulic leveling we saw. So what we could do, right now it's in travel mode because we have the engine running and we're aired up. If we turn to if we're getting set up to park, you can manually dump those airbags out if you just want to be sitting on the frame. Or if you wanted to actually level it, you'll just hit auto level. It'll bring those jacks, it'll dump the airbags, and then bring those jacks down and level itself out based on what it needs. So the last thing that's on this chassis that you can't really see, on the left side of the steering wheel, there is a pedal adjustment. So if you want to look down there, you can bring those pedals in and out, like if you're a taller or shorter person. So that's going to be one of those cool features there. The last creature comfort items are going to be, your seats are going to have their captain's chairs. They are electric recline and electric forward and back, and they are also heated seats. So for those long drives or for those cold weather, it just makes it that much more comfortable. And then the passenger does get a foot prop as well whenever they're spun around. So that's going to be it for this one. So my name's Justin. My cell phone number is 404-936-6215. My email is justin.rogers@transwest.com. This has been the 2025 Newmar Dutch Star 4369. If you have any questions, feel free to text or call.